everyone. Welcome to Recollections May Vary, a royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield here with Maureen Callahan, host of The Nerve with Maureen Callahan. I know you've subscribed to it on YouTube because everyone has. Okay, so we've been going after SJP lately. You've taken on Howard Stern. Who else should be like ducking from you this week?
Well, among the living, one Carol Radziwill, who is currently over on CNN and any podcast that would have her to feast on the carcasses of just her good friend John, who she doesn't understand why everybody was so fascinated. He was just John to her. And Carolyn, she was so much more than like a clothes horse, but she can't tell us what she was. So yeah, we're taking that out back over on the Nerve currently.
That drives me crazy when people are like, you just don't understand them, but I'm not going to give you any details. So you just
Because
have
they
to
don't have any to give.
yeah, you just have to believe.
Carolyn was a clothes horse.
Yeah.
She was a great clothes horse. She
Yeah.
looked great in clothes. People still want to dress like her. There are no shortage of TikTok influencers, cosplaying as Carolyn and Instagram account. Like, get out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. All right. So let's talk about Harry and Meghan. One source told the Daily Mail today the $100 million deal has been an expensive failure for Netflix. However, they want to dress it up. First of all, are you hearing what I'm hearing, which is that this was never $100 million, that is such an exaggerated number.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm tired of like repeating it because I've heard a million times over that is such a high, unrealistic number, the original deal.
Yes, agreed. And I think if you look at the way any deal is structured in media, be it a book deal, what used to be advances for albums, etc., you are paid in a structured way. No company is going to write a flat check for $100 million without seeing the work, right? Without seeing what you do. So maybe the first installment is a 10 to $20 million check, and that check goes to the entire production of any given series, whether it's the Harry and Meghan docuseries, whether it's Polo, whatever. If you do not podcasts, same way, you get paid based on what you put out. Are
Mhm.
people watching? Are they listening? Can you attract advertisers? Can you get revenue that way? Can you monetize other? There is no way Netflix cut these two losers a check for $100 million and said, go show us your genius. We
Yeah.
know you've got it in you. Who doesn't love watching you two win, win, win all day long? Tom Brady said something great about Caitlin Clark, the WNBA player. He said, we love watching greatness over here. And it's like, it's what greats say about other greats. You love to watch people work hard and win.
Yeah.
And it's not the case with these two.
Oh my gosh, that's the truth. So let's talk about Page Six's piece yesterday. Um, we know that this is a first look deal, which basically just means first dibs.
Hmm.
Netflix just wants to be the first people they approach when she has another idea like Pearl, which another woman accused her of stealing. I mean, Netflix inevitably canceled it before it even went into production, but lately a woman
But
has.
wasn't that also, Kinsey, a story about a little girl who was a stand-in for Meghan who was just effing awesome?
Yes, 100%. Yes, it was. She like co-developed it with Elton John's husband, and another woman is like, "Look, I actually have a child named Pearl, meeting all these old feminists of the past in my book series." So it wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway. But we've heard their ideas. We've heard shooting the what with Donald Trump. Really, Harry, after you've spent years insulting him, you think this man's going to give you the time of day? There's a McDonald's that he'd rather spend his time at. Okay. And then it says, this Netflix source says it's not much about their new deal financially. It's no risk for Netflix, but saves them both reputationally. Um, that's pretty obvious, don't you think, that this is just Netflix not wanting to have egg on their faces? And yeah, I think that this is an expensive experiment when it comes to Netflix trying to pivot into some sort of QVC world.
That first look deal, I'm gonna guess, is worth $0. $0.
Zero
But
dollar
that
make you
wait,
holla, Meghan Markle.
right? It reminds me though what you just said about Harry, his brainstorm, his brilliant idea to do a podcast in which he sat down with famous men because in his mind, these are all just celebrities, such as Vladimir Putin, to discuss Vladimir's daddy issues and why that has turned him into a tyrannical despot who is currently, I guess, working out said daddy issues by bombing the out of Ukraine. Right? Like he's such a moron. And I think also the way in which Netflix is trying to gently part ways is to avoid, you dance with who brought you. And they got in bed with Meghan Markle, who is a terrible person. My opinion. Like if she's angry, she's going to start leaking. She's going to start telling things that she knows about the ways in which Netflix is run, or maybe some, sordid little secrets of what goes on over at Netflix HQ. Just my supposition. So I think it's remarkable too, Kinsey, because we're seeing this play out in the culture right now with so many people who just won't take the memo. Like, you failed. We don't want what you're selling. Your product sucks, and we're tired of you in our faces all the time. It's the same with Sarah Jessica Parker. It's the same with Howard Stern. And now, like, death comes in threes, right? And now it's Meghan Markle.
Oh my gosh. And I agree with you that, like, analytically, we can look at what's going on and say, okay, well, this is not quite the hit that you're trying to sell us. Polo specifically, in the low 3,000s of their 7,000 list that they recently released. Meghan's show was 383, I think. It didn't even crack the top 100, and you're trying to tell us that this is such a valuable asset. But I feel like she intentionally tried to put it on Netflix when she sat and did that Time sit down in New York, where we were all like, why is she there? She's not even on their list this year. When they did their Time 100 event, and she is telling the story of how this has all come to fruition. And I'm sorry that I'm forgetting the CEO's name, or the woman in charge of content's name, who's very important. But Meghan says, I sent her some jam just to be friendly. And that woman from Netflix calls her up and is like, you should do this. This is your brand. And Netflix is who leads her into the direction of this TV show. And they want to create these products around her. And she thrusts all of this on them. So it's almost as if it does fail, it's not my fault. Classic Meghan, pointing the finger at somebody else. It's not my fault because this was all on them. But in Tom Bower's Revenge, he tells us she's been shopping a lifestyle show since well before Prince Harry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's also, I think that's kind of why she was with the chef in Canada, because he gave her cred in that space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think too, the notion that she's going to successfully sell to us, that she's at her core, she's a passive person who likes to take orders.
Yeah.
Because if that had been the case, we would have been seeing a very happy, humble working royal doing her duty and not throwing grenades on her way out the door, making the final days of Prince Philip and Her Late Majesty the Queen of England a total misery, and accusing people of racism and such. And this is why I just think it's akin to Blake Lively. I don't know what other media entity or executive would partner up with her.
Yeah.
Because it's more trouble than it's worth, and she's going to leave her stink cloud and her veiled threats hanging all over the place like dirty laundry on her way out the door.
That's a very good point. Now I've been like just chomping at the bit to talk to you about With Love, Meghan holiday celebration. It's coming in December, featuring holiday wonder with warmth, tradition, and a generous dose of joy with friends and family. Now, this is a woman who doesn't talk to her father, doesn't talk to her. I mean, she's going to court next month with her half-sister Samantha. Her half-sister Samantha is suing her for defamation. Her husband's family, because she never refers to him as Harry, the Duke of Sussex, it's always my husband, is not talking to his family because they don't trust him. So how are we supposed to believe that this is an expert on how to celebrate the holidays with your family?
Again, I feel like we've whacked her upside the head low these many years. Meghan, that's not your brand. No one is looking to you for how to invite people into a warm, happy home and make them feel great about themselves. I am Sussex now, Mindy Kaling. Get it straight. I cannot wait to watch this special. I cannot wait.
My gosh, it's going to be so, my body's going to reject it. I can already feel that my body's going to reject it. I have a very big issue with this because, and I'm not saying that it's my personal feeling that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has kind of adopted this holiday because every year she does this really
Mm,
sweet Christmas special. It's a Christmas choir special. And in the
mhm.
UK, we all wait to see the photos of her entire family arriving at the church in their adorable little Christmas colors. Obviously, Princess Charlotte matches her, but Pippa and her mom usually match her too. Sometimes Zara will show up, and they all just look so united as a family. And there are celebrities that show up and sing Christmas carols, and it's just so peaceful and enchanting. And last year, it felt so good after we'd had such a difficult year with Catherine's cancer. And so it feels to me like this is Meghan trying to steal something else from Catherine. Am I being too sensitive?
I don't think so. I think this is a great observation and one I really want to dig into a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Catherine's event always take place in the evening? Like it's dark. And there's something very, you don't normally see the royals do events at night like that. It may be a glittering gala or a movie premiere like a Tom Cruise, but other than that, we see them typically in the daylight. And there's something very cozy and inviting at Christmas time to see the royals together, coming into a beautiful church as, against a black backdrop. And it's really wonderful. And I do think that Meghan, riven with jealousy as she is, and resentment and just anger, seething anger, that she will never, ever be the Princess of Wales in title and in the personhood that is Catherine, who has really earned her place. Catherine went through hell when she was dating William, and she was, poised to become the next woman to marry into that family. And she grinned and bared it and got through it. And Meghan just lacks an iota of grace, of humility. She has no sense of humor, like a true, in my opinion, malignant narcissist. Zero sense of humor.
I also think there's something icky about the fact that this Catherine concert is all about unity and bringing the country together. And let's stop for a moment and let's just be grateful, and let's think about the past and the future. Where Meghan's like, I've got a Christmas special because guess what? I have some limited edition Christmas items that are going to be available on asever.com, because we do know that this is all in partnership with some seasonal product she's going to drop. Isn't it just kind of commercialized and gross?
If you're doing like a holiday special, right? A holiday special that one has to subscribe to a streaming service to see, don't you want to get like some real fun guest stars, right? Who, Kinsey, would agree to guest star on Meghan's, like, this is a real thought exercise.
Elton John. It's my I think I've seen Elton John with Queen Camilla recently, so it would surprise me to see Elton John step up and do something with her for Netflix. Maybe he would. Brene Brown, I think is her name, was also on that Christmas special. These motivational, I need to sell a new book every 3 months types of
Hmm.
people are shameless. Brown would be there with bells on, Mel Robbins with bells on. Like I can see some of these motivational type people that, pump books out religiously. I can see them showing up because honestly, they've got a new book to sell. But I think you're right. I think she's really, really limited. She's done it to herself, because the cast of Suits were so supportive of her leading up to the wedding. They showed up to
Hmm.
the wedding, and then she cuts them off and changes her phone number. There was the big Suits resurgence where everybody was watching it on Netflix. She's missed so many opportunities, nostalgia wise. She's missed
Hmm.
so many opportunities by alienating the people that she came up with.
Hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think back to that Super Bowl ad with the two lead actors from Suits. Now, I've never watched the show, but because it's been in my face so much, I recognized them and I thought, for a Super Bowl ad, they must have thought, who better than Meghan Markle?
Mhm.
But my sense is she is so toxic as a brand, and they probably have such a personal dislike for her. To change your number and not shoot an email and say, hey, here's my new contact info is so, she's tacky, she's rude, she's horrible.
What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting a little breathing room. It's possible when you call American Financing today. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas, bills piling up, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and there doesn't seem to be a way out. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt. You need to call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. And their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. That's like a $10,000 raise. It's fast, it's simple, and it could save your budget this summer. Call before it's too late. 866-887-1201. That's 866-887-1201, or visit americanfinancing.net/unfiltered. One of the big reveals from the press release from Harry and Meghan this week was that Harry is developing a short film that is going to highlight small orphanages in Uganda, where children transform hardship into joy, dancing their way towards healing, belonging, and the promise of a brighter future. I looked up the title of this, Massacre Kids, A Rhythm Within. And I found it on IMDb already as completed. And so my question to you is, I'm wondering if this is another one of those documentaries or libraries of footage that
Mm-hmm.
exist. All the hard work
Mm-hmm.
is done, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
Live to Lead. And Harry and Meghan come and stamp an Archwell sticker on it and go, look what we did. Look what we did. Even though somebody else has done all of the hard work, because they did this with Live to Lead, which was another Netflix failure analytically. And the former Prime Minister of New Zealand that is featured in it, who's now on the Earthshot Board of Trustees, had to speak out and go, look, when I got involved in this, Harry and Meghan had nothing to do with it. She was so fiercely distancing herself from Harry and Meghan. And she was like, Harry and Meghan didn't have anything to do when I sat down with this production.
Are
So
you talking about Jacinda Ardern?
yes, yes. And so I'm wondering if this is similar to that scenario where somebody else came up with this concept and Harry and Meghan swooped in and said, well, we'll just throw it on our Netflix roster.
I just love how everybody from Harry and Meghan on down who has any association with a stink bomb that they're responsible for is like, it's not my fault. I didn't
100%.
know anything. You can't be the Prime Minister of New Zealand and be like, that detail escaped me. Okay. She's over here in America trying to rehab her reputation. Okay. And she's
Yeah.
getting a very warm welcome from an unquestioning media. Another show, another time. But first of all, I want South Park to take another whack at these two, and I want them to be garlanded, the both of them, in tiny Ugandan orphans, just clinging to every limb. Like that is their ornamentation. They are hiding behind small orphans in Africa. They are so disgusting. It's like, look at what great people we are. Talk about white savior complex. Meghan, don't you have to lecture us about this? About your husband alighting in Africa every time he's got a crisis, personal or professional, and hiding behind impoverished orphans? What is this?
Um, Unfortunately, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, I think it was Colombia, I can't remember what country they were in, where Meghan is like got the claw out and she's just dragging around this little girl. And you're like, you don't know this little girl. Why are you taking a million pictures with this little girl? Like there's the lack of authenticity is really gross, but You mentioned earlier, like Catherine had a hard time when she was dating Prince William because the only comparison there was to the media, and it was lazy, was Diana.
Hmm.
Um, that was the worst, most difficult thing I imagine, aside from like, is he gonna ever ask me to marry him? I think that that's got to be so hard because at that time we'd already built this myth around her
Hmm.
that she
Hmm.
was Mother Teresa 2.0. And Diana and Catherine have a very unique quality in the way that every time you see them with the sick, the small, um, you believe you believe them when they are engaging with them. There's something, so there's magic happening between those people. And that Meghan doesn't have that. She lacks that. And it's like, well, Catherine had the difficulty of being compared to Diana. Meghan chases it. And that's what a lot of this is, Harry in Africa. It's Meghan and Harry chasing Diana's legacy and trying to be glued to this woman that was not perfect. And the more that they push that she was perfect and that they're perfect, we start to remember things that aren't necessarily a positive reflection of his mother.
It reminds me of that first episode of the Harry and Meghan documentary, the one that did well, where we see Meghan with a baby Archie, I believe it's Archie, and she's looking at a portrait of Diana on the wall and saying, "Look,
Huge.
that's your grandmother."
Yes.
Now, the portrait is not a family cozy, personally taken by a family member, Diana at home, being casual, and her intimate self. It is I believe it's a Patrick Demarchelier. Sorry, I know how to say his name and I'm tripping over it. Devil Wears Prada. Get me Demarchelier or whatever. But it's that black and white image of her in a ball gown with the tiara, but like it's the juxtaposition of her being on the studio floor. Like so it's unroyal in the seating and the bearing, but it's very royal in the tiara and the gown and her presence. And so she's got her baby looking at a professionally shot image for a major fashion magazine instead of it, like it just says everything. It's
Yeah.
right. It just says everything about her.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. Yeah. It's like you look like it's like standing outside of Neiman Marcus or something and being like, this is your grandma. No, there's nothing warm about you. There's nothing like we were talking about the coziness of Catherine's
Hmm.
Christmas special. There's nothing warm and cozy about a woman in white with pasta sauce. You're like, like my God, what's gonna happen? Is she gonna spill on herself? Everything is just so like, ooh, with her. I thought that the New York Times, first of all, I thought that this was a pretty savage headline from the New York Times. Netflix signs new looser deal with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And they're basically saying like Netflix is no longer all in. And the New York Times has been very sympathetic to Harry and Meghan. They love calling the royal family racists. So they say there have also been tensions between Netflix and Archewell through the years. They talked to three separate people that said this. I doubt this will surprise you. The streaming giant found out about the release date of Harry's memoir, Spare, just a few months before the documentary series about the couple was set to debut. And remember, they kept moving, not only the book, but the documentary. It was everything that these two do is chaos. There's no clean launch or unravel. It's like watching a game of pickleball. It's like,
Hmm.
when are we going to see anything that just feels organic and feels like it was meant to be? But apparently there was tension when it came to how closely they were releasing the book to the television series. Um, I always felt that watching the Oprah Winfrey interview, like if I were Spotify or Netflix, I would be so pissed off about this Oprah Winfrey interview.
Or Penguin Random House,
Yeah.
who I believe was his publisher.
Yeah.
Why are you spilling all the secrets that we have paid you 20 million, 40 million, 100 million? Like, why are you giving that all away for free to Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah.
I would be so, but again, these entities, executives, they have nobody to blame but themselves.
Yeah.
These people, if there's one thing that's obvious and honest about them, is, in my opinion, they're grifters.
Mm.
They are dishonest brokers. They will tell you one thing and they will do another, and they have no shame about signing a contract which guarantees a level of proprietary information and then turning around and just bleeding it out in the town square.
Mm.
That was Meghan's Diana moment too. Again, she just would, if she could, she would exhume the body, skin it, and wear it. She sat there as Diana did for Martin Bashir with her coal-lined eyes and her head tipped down and looking up and using lots of pregnant pauses and glistening, unblinking eyes to communicate truths that were far too difficult or sensitive to actually tell. And of course, it's far worse to imply things and let people's imaginations run wild than to just say what it is you have to say.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that the second that interview was over, in your mind visually, you could see the royal family and a question mark over everyone's head. Who is the
Mm-hmm.
royal racist? And it stayed that way
Mm-hmm.
for months until I think some of us just came to the decision that that story was likely not true, and we're probably dealing with two overly sensitive people, especially listening to Chris Rock's stand up about it, where he's
Oh,
totally
yes.
dismissive of it. And he's like, you know what? It's a conversation we all have. You got a ginger over here and a beautiful biracial Black woman, like you're going to be like, what's the baby going to look like? So now Harry and Meghan were quick to tell the New York Times that their story was off, that there have never been any tensions with Netflix. So I went back and I found the October 2022 interview that Meghan Markle does with Variety. And I wanted to read you some of these quotes and get your opinion if you think, based on what Meghan said previously, that perhaps there were tensions. Remember, they went through multiple production companies to execute their first series, Harry and Meghan, the only commercially successful series. And it says Meghan doesn't appear pleased with the direction her and Prince Harry's docuseries took. It says it's taking, but it took. She suggested that she wished the director, Liz Garbus, had done it differently. Meghan says it's nice to be able to trust someone with our story, a seasoned director whose work I've long admired, even if it means it may not be the way we would have told it, she said to Variety. But that's why we're telling it. We're trusting our story to someone else, and that means it will go through their lens. Page Six exclusively reported that Netflix execs and the series filmmakers were confused by the fact that some of the comments the Duke and Duchess make in his upcoming book don't align with what he and Markle say on camera. A lot of the show contradicts what Harry has written, so that was an issue, a senior Netflix source revealed to Page Six. Then Harry and Meghan made significant requests to filmmakers to walk back content they themselves had provided for their own project. The Sussexes are believed to have dished on camera about the royal family, including Prince William and Kate Middleton, as well as King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla, and reportedly wanted to edit some of it out. That does sound to me like there were some problems behind the scenes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Liz Garbus, did they parachute her in after the original director quit?
Yes.
Yeah. So the original director, who again, you get signed to a deal like this, you're probably thinking this is going to be amazing for my career. I'm going to have household name recognition if this thing goes right. Could not stand working with them, and or Meghan threw a fit and was like, fire this person. So in they bring Liz Garbus, a very respected documentarian. And what does Meghan do? But talk crap about her in the press,
In
which is what
Variety, which is like
in
the
in a
Bible.
trade publication, right? Which you do not do. You do not do that to someone else's career. Most actors will not even say if they have been offered a role that somebody else then went on to execute to great success. They'll never say I auditioned for this, or unless it's like years and years and years back. Now people talk about Titanic and who went through those doors, right?
Yeah.
But it's considered a professional courtesy. Like you don't do that. You don't say I was first choice. Okay. Tangentially, Meghan, you don't talk crap about the person who came in to salvage your documentary, which you needed to be a hit, and who you would like to keep on side just for future. You never know if you might need that person. Maybe don't antagonize that person so they don't talk shit about you. I mean, it's Why am I even wasting my breath? Why? She'll never get it. She doesn't want to get it.
No, to me, read, I do believe that they gave them content and said, we can't use that because these two are yo-yos and we see it in everything they do, whether it's the launch of American Riviera Orchard turned as ever, or archetypes becoming confessions of a female founder, Spotify becoming Limonada. They're yo-yos and you can't rely on them. And my biggest takeaway in all of this is thank God that the British royal family got rid of them because they would have continued to be a liability under King Charles and they're inevitable, I should say, King William, because they are not reliable. They seem completely unstable in almost everything they try to do. Look at Senabale. I mean, the charity commission said, you know what? We don't investigate individual bully claims, but as a whole, Prince Harry fired first and spills this drama into the streets by going to the Times and giving them a quote about why he's stepping down and pointing the blame at Dr. Sophie Shandaka. I mean, these two are just so messy. And I am disappointed that Netflix wants to continue to engage with them because I feel like they should be smarter than that. But you say it repeatedly, and I tend to agree with you that this could all be based on the potential breakup one day. And we've got to keep Meghan on our side because we've seen, thanks to Oprah, that she can be bitter and vengeful. And we want to be there when she is.
It's such a Faustian bargain. Anybody getting in bed with these two, I don't know why anyone would do it. It's like, so let's quote Oprah, that great sage.
Let's do
You
it.
know, let's do it. Past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. I don't think it originated with her, but she popularized it nonetheless. They're just utter losers. I mean, that New York Times headline, they choose their words very carefully. A looser deal, remove one O from that. It's a loser deal, right? They're losers. There's nothing they're going to get vis-a-vis the royals anymore, And in fact, if they want to have, we've said it all before. We've said it all before. This is a losing enterprise. Why would you want to be attached to this? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, really quickly before I let you go, Catherine and William's friends don't get it either. Because according to a royal source, friends of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, allegedly ridiculed Meghan Markle after the announcement of her lifestyle company was rebranded from American Riviera Orchard to As Ever in February. The friends reportedly referred to the Duchess of Sussex's latest business venture as if it will ever take off. This is according to Bella magazine as well. One source said it's caused quite a bit of laughter within the group WhatsApp message. They've been going back and forth. It's all very budget and rushed, embarrassing, really. That budget and rushed is a great description of what we've witnessed in 2025 from Meghan Markle, which was supposed to be the year of the Markle sparkle. I mean, again, she was stuck in her house the same way, except a mansion, the same way you and I were for years. She's had so much time to plot this big launch, and it's been a hot mess express.
Scammy jam, scammy jam, as if, right? As if anything she throws against the wall is going to stick. It's just, as to me, the personification of the Meghan Markle brand as this iteration as a domestic goddess is best represented by the poor dog who we saw in her kitchen in the dog bed, who I believe was medicated and drugged against his will to be sedated and not be food activated, as 99.9% of dogs are.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that poor dog is a really great place for us to say, well, we feel sorry for him. We felt sorry for him. I think he's no longer with us. Agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Maureen Callahan, I love catching you on the nerve. I especially love your weekend nerves. A nice little break from
our minis.
Yes, your mini nerves. So thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you again so soon.
Thanks for having me, Kinsey. It was great fun as always.
As ever, as ever.
As if, bitch.